What's up, guys? Ibrahim Awad, serious injury and wrongful death attorney out of Atlanta, Georgia. I wanted to take a moment and thank you all for continuing to watch this morning motivational series. Today's topic is about being yourself. Now, a lot of people talk about, the only way to make it is to be yourself. You can't copy anyone. Obviously, it will show that it's fabricated, it's manufactured. You have to be your authentic self. But what I feel nobody talks about is, how do you know who you are? Okay, so be yourself, but what if you don't know who I am? How do we find ourselves? And there's several paths to finding yourself, but I'm going to give you a practical technique. Now, it's a little different than my journey, which includes spirituality, my faith, finding a spiritual coach. So here's a technique that you can actually implement. First, finding a role model, then following them, and then emulating them. But wait, how is that not actually faking it till you make it? Well, it kinda is. Because if you want to really find yourself, you really have to understand who you're not. So you have to go out there and put in effort and try a technique or a particular style that someone that you look up to did. And you will feel instantly if that technique, that style, fits your style or not. If it feels awkward, if it feels tense, if it feels just not you, then you know that's not the way to move forward. However, what you ultimately end up doing is taking a little bit from here, taking a little bit from here, taking a little bit from here, and molding all those little styles and forming your own. What it does take is a lot of effort. But what I have found is we're so bombarded with all these messages that say, be yourself, be yourself, be yourself, and everybody just gets stuck because they know that they can't be this person because that's not who they are, and they just don't put any effort. They don't move forward. Well, you're gonna have to make mistakes. Though they are extremely uncomfortable, you have to make mistakes to truly find who you are. So whenever you think about that, understand that making mistakes is part of the journey. And you can extract from that mistake and truly find yourself. And it's gonna be a continuing evolution. It's never like, oh, this is myself. No, because you can change too. You can evolve. So I used to be extremely judgmental of people, and to a degree, I am still working on that. I think of myself as always under construction. But rather than looking at people and saying, oh, he flip-flopped. He used to have this position, now he has this position. I apply that to myself and say, no, they've just evolved. They've gone from here and they have come to here. And as opposed to being a hypocrite, it's a person has grown. And that's the lens in which I choose to view people presently at this time, because I have evolved. I've said things yesterday that I don't agree with today. And rather than saying, wow, how could I have done that? Or how could I have said that? Now I just take a moment and become a little bit more contemplative and think about what I have to say and, capture these moments and articulate myself in the best possible way. At this point in my life, I have a case that have gained a little bit of publicity of a Varnell police officer who sexually harassed a client of mine. And we were looking and investigating to see if there's other incidents. And many of you may have seen the billboard that we put out in Dalton, Georgia, asking people to come forward if they have been sexually harassed or if they've seen such a thing. And, yesterday I read an article about how the city attorney said that was in bad taste. And I was thinking about that, and I wanted to tell you all the story of how the billboard incident really came to be. At first, we called the Daily Citizen, which is a newspaper in Dalton, Georgia, and asked them, we would like to put an article or a information needed segment in the newspaper. And when they told us the cost of putting it in the newspaper, we figured out that it costs less to put it on a billboard for a few months than putting it in the newspaper. And so that's the route that we took. Is it unorthodox? Absolutely. But to our dismay, people actually have responded and said that we have witnessed this sort of thing. And no matter what you do, guys, no matter what you do, not everybody is going to be happy with you, okay? Just take that, understand it, acknowledge it. Even God has enemies. That's what I always remind myself. Every leader has enemies. And there are people that are just not going to like what you're doing, no matter what. So I thank God that I have finally come to a place in my life where I can look at the critiques and the criticism and say, okay, I understand your point, but that's not going to deter me. And I hope that you come to that realization in your journey of finding yourself. And you need to find yourself. You need to know who you are before you take on things of great magnitude, great significance. So I pray that you get there sooner than I have. As always, people, God bless and take care.